What's going on, y'all? Thanks for checking in the Khaliis Take. You know what to do. Hit that like, subscribe button. Also hit that notification bell just so you can get the newest and the bonus content first. But hey, let's just go ahead and jump right in. You know, according to Bleacher Report, 2 players couldn't make all the world difference for the Lakers and possibly could make them a championship team. But, you know, I'm on the fence with that. Because if 2 players are going to make the Lakers better, they have to be both really good on the defensive end, and they both really have to be able to, you know, change the game in different ways for the Lakers. Because the Lakers, the way they're built, only certain type players can really make them better. And to me, the only type of player that really can make them better, or type of players that can make them better, is defensive players, if you ask me. Because I say all the time, defense wins championships. And I stand by that, because that's always been the notion. That's always been, you know, a staple in regards to any sport. Defense really wins championships. And to me, the 2 players that Bleacher Report is talking about is Miles Turner and Buddy Hield. That can make a difference, that can make that type of difference for the Lakers. Now, me personally, I don't really believe if they got those 2 players, that would make them a championship team. I could see that making them a second round team in the playoffs. I could see that, maybe possibly sneaking into a conference finals, but I don't think they could beat any one of the major teams with what they have and by adding those 2 players. Because all the other teams that I look at in the West, the Clippers, the Memphis Grizzlies, the Warriors, the Suns, those teams are really, you know, they're stacked. And even though the Suns didn't play well last year, they still was the number 1 seed. And then you got to add Luka in there, and then you might have to add the Pelicans in there with Zion coming back, with Brandon Ingram and CJ McCollum. I mean, that's going to be a hell of a out right there. And then, you know, the Minnesota Timberwolves, they still got talent there with Anthony Edwards and everything. So I mean, like, the West is tough. And like I said, to add 2 players like that, I'm not saying they're not going to make life better for the Lakers. They definitely would, because the Lakers didn't even make the play-in tournament last year. So if these 2 players happen to get acquired, you know, from the Pacers, if the Lakers are able to make that trade go through, then, I mean, those 2 players can definitely make life a lot easier for LeBron and AD. Because, you know, Miles Turner would be a great backup to Anthony Davis, or he might play center, Anthony Davis play power forward, and or, you know, now LeBron James got a 3-point specialist out there that he can really trust. So when he drives into the paint, now he has somebody out there on the perimeter that will make teams pay all the way through. You know what I'm saying? From the 3-point line, deadly. Almost like what Kentavious Caldwell-Pope was a couple seasons ago when they won the championship in the bubble. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope really, you know, made things better for LeBron James. LeBron trusted him out there on the perimeter, and he played defense. Now, Buddy Hield don't play defense the way KCP does, or at least he's not as active on the defensive end the way KCP was. So my thing with that is, you know, even though Buddy Hield doesn't have the defense, he can stretch the floor better, and it can make their offense better. But as you heard me say on millions of occasions, their offense was already fine to me. Their offense could be a little bit better. Don't get me wrong. You can always improve offensively, but they weren't having trouble scoring last year. They had trouble stopping people. And when you have trouble stopping opponents, you're not going to beat them, even if you're putting up 150, 120 points, 100 whatever points, because if you're putting up 120 plus points, but you're giving up 119 per game, hypothetically, not saying that's exactly what the Lakers did, but hypothetically, if you're playing that ratio, if you put up 120 points a game, you average 120 points a game, but your opponent averages 119, you're not going to win many games like that, because it's almost a balance, a shift of power, I mean, that goes to the momentum of the other team, because you can't stop anything they're doing. So if that means if you have any off nights on offense, the other team is definitely going to beat you. And even the nights you are on offense, like we saw Lakers last year, they were on a lot of nights scoring wise, but the problem was they couldn't stop nobody defensively. So that really made them a one-dimensional team. And when you're one-dimensional like that, it always comes back to bite you every single time. I mean, it's just the way it is. So, I mean, you know, with that being said, like, the Lakers really have to improve on that one side of the floor more than the offensive side. That defensive side shot is really going to be the counterbalance for them, and that's really going to put them over the top, or it can really make them sink to the bottom if they don't find ways to make that side of the ball more effective, which is the defensive end. And like I said, they added a couple young pieces or youthful pieces, which I thought that was big for them too. They definitely needed some youth, but they definitely need some defense. And like I said, if they're not going to play defense to that high of a level or a decent amount of level, they're going to find themselves in the predicament they were in last year, winning some games, losing some games. It's almost like in hypothetically, they might win 3 in a row or 1 or 2 in a row, but then they'll lose 3, 4 in a row. And when you play that game in an 82 game season, you're going to find yourself behind playing under 500 basketball the same way they did. And they found themselves not even looked at in the play-in tournament, definitely not even the playoffs, because they had no chance of getting there. And it was really utterly sad to see them, be that way, because wow, you look at the team, they got 3 top 75 players. Why couldn't they at least make a play-in tournament? You see what I'm saying? LeBron has played with less talent and made the playoffs and made the finals. So, it's like this team should have really flourished a lot better than what they did. They didn't, and they came up short. And this upcoming season could be another reenactment of that if they don't find ways to better themselves on the defensive end. Now, hopefully Darvin Ham can help them with that, because he definitely knows how to. I feel like he's the type of coach that can push the right buttons out of certain players. So if they have to keep Russell Westbrook and don't make this trade for Miles Turner and Buddy Hield, which, that would be good for them. Now they have a more of a reliable 3-point shooter, a perimeter shooter, and they got, more size in the paint where you can, play more defense there. Miles Turner can give you about 15 points a game with about 9 rebounds. So, if he's a backup to 80 or playing beside him, that can make, the Lakers really, really, good, depending on if AD stays healthy, which is another issue all on its own. But we'll have to see how it goes and see how it plays out. I don't know if the Lakers are going to make this trade or not. A lot of speculation is out there, but speculation is speculation. It's not reality. So until it becomes reality, it's nothing we could really, speak on about it or, chime in on too much, because it's not, reality as of yet. It's just more it's just speculation. So more or less in their case, they need some type of trade to come through that can make them a little bit better, because they haven't really made no splash plays in this off season, sort of say. So, 1 or 2 splash plays can make all the world difference in regards to them being a little bit better, but I don't know about being a championship team. So we'll see if that pans out for them in their favor, and see if they can actually acquire these 2 players. If they can, that might better their chances of making the playoffs, making the first, second round. And then, you just kind of take it from there if you have an opportunity to make it that far, if you're the Lakers. So that's what they need to do, and we'll see what happens as far as the outcome. But hey, that's my take on everything. Leave any comments in the comment section. Check out my other videos if you haven't already. And hey, Khaliis out.